classic. Even I remember that from my childhood. And here it is forming today's tenuous link. It is Terry and June. It's June the 1st. Welcome to Monday morning. Today sees the start of the new working week and a new month, and of course the season of summer. This month will see us reaching the longest day. But what else do we know about June? Well, a quick look on the internet has brought up the following facts. Just hang on a second. I know it's sunny, but there we go. Okay, so the Romans called June Junius or Junius, but it is unclear whether this was after Juno, the goddess of marriage, or, here's a fact for the day, May and June were named for the old and young, that is, majores and juniores, or something like that. If my pronunciation isn't particularly helpful, then do take a look in your viral times. Now, the Anglo-Saxons called June Serra Monath, which is dry month. I wonder how right they will be this June. June is celebrated as National Smile Month in the UK. And as we heard the other day, a smile can make everything straight. It's the curve that makes everything straight, isn't it? That's right. So there we are. Let's all try and smile. Now, another useful little factet here that you can share with your friends as you sit your 2 meters socially distant apart in the park. In any year, no month begins on the same day as of the week as June. So today is Monday, the 1st of June. Presumably no other months this year will start on a Monday. How amazing is that? I didn't know that. Now, Antony and Cleopatra and Henry IV Part 1 are the only Shakespeare plays that mention June. I don't think that's the June as in Terry and June. I do think that's the month of June. Now, June was the 39th most popular name for a baby girl in 1925. So if you're 95 years old and watching this, there might be a good chance you're called June. That was in English-speaking countries. It dropped out of the top 1,000 in 1986. Now here's something really weird. As a boy's name, you're going to be glad you got up and watched this today, aren't you? As a boy's name, it peaked in 697th place in 1922. So if you're 98 years old and male, there's a chance you might be called June as well. Anyway, right, the Earl of Liverpool and Anthony Eden are the only UK Prime Ministers to have been born in June, and no UK Prime Minister has ever died in June. I'm not going to say anything about whether this month will change anything, but there we go. So there we are, a little bit of trivia to see us all into the new day, week, month and season. Have a lovely Monday. But first of all, do stay tuned for the rest of Viral Times. Now, you'll be pleased to know that our alphabet of church life today reaches the letter Q. But we're going to do that on tiptoe because Q is for quiet. So we're not going to shout that from the rooftops. Quiet is something that we can offer in abundance in our churches. Once they're open again, they are places of silence and space where we can all take time to encounter God. We can simply sit and pray and think, giving thanks or putting our life and our worries in perspective. So in due course, we hope to open the doors of the churches and invite you to the quiet, prayerful spaces of our beautiful buildings. So Q for quiet. Okay, now C is for countdown, and Katie Boughton, Steve and Pat Curtis, Joy Rapley and Jeremy Kennett were all very fast out of the blocks with our word game yesterday, and they spotted the 9-letter word chameleon within minutes. The Viral Times hotbox was inbox was almost pinging wildly because they all got in touch having spotted chameleon. So there we go. How did you do with that? Our new set of letters for today are SHEARKING and there is a 9-letter word lurking there. Can you find it? And also, how many similar smaller words can you find? Now, our numbers problem was solved yesterday by Steve and Pat, and also Keith, and their method, if it was baffling you, because it was a hard problem yesterday, is on the viral times. So please do take a look there. So who's up for the challenge today? This one is not easy. I was deliberately difficult with it. See how close you can get to 796, so 796, with the numbers 100, 75, 50, 25, 6 and 1. Okay. The long arm of coincidence. We heard today from John and Hilary Farthing, who have a lovely tale to tell that goes to show you really are never very far from home. They write, in September 1993, John and I set off for an extended holiday to Australia. Having arrived in Perth at midnight, we retired to bed and were awoken by a massive thunderstorm at 7:30 a.m. On going to the city, we stopped at a crossing point and a bus passed by. Now remember, it had been raining, so we were now two very wet people. On leaving, we went to the shop next door, and an electric fire enticed us to stay. We started talking to a lady who noticed how damp we were and offered us a bowl of soup. While eating and talking, we told her that we lived in St Michael's, a small village near Tenterden in Kent. Her reply? Do you know Heather Drive? There was a pause and a gasp of breaths. Yes, we live there, was our reply. Now it appears that Mrs Laura Ivy, who I think from interpreting the letter was the person they'd met, went to school with the daughter of someone called Mrs Yo, who lived in the bungalow over the road from the Farthings, where Pam Cornish now lives. There we go. And Hilary concludes by saying that it was amazing to have gone halfway round the world and find a charming lady who knew the area where they lived. Irene Bassett has also been in touch with the following string of coincidences. Irene says, I moved to Tenterden nearly 3 years ago, and imagine my surprise when I found my next door neighbour, Anne Atwater, and I had worked together in London some 40 years ago, and both of us at that time had been living in Sidcup, which was itself a coincidence. Now the following Sunday after moving, she came to church with Sarah down to St Mildred's, and after the service Sarah introduced Irene to Sandra Boughton. Sandra and I then spent the next week thinking, how did they know each other, because they recognised each other's face. By the following Sunday, we'd realised that it was Holy Trinity Church in Sidcup. So there we go. And then at the beginning of lockdown, Irene had to phone Anne Bevan, our new safeguarding officer at St Mildred's. And in the course of the conversation, Irene mentioned that while living in Bexley Heath, Christchurch was her parish church, and she knew that Neil, Anne's husband, had been the head choir boy there. Anne then went on to tell her that she had lived in Sidcup but had sung at Holy Trinity, and then they discovered that they lived in the same avenue. And Irene says, when lockdown is over and the cafes are open, we can only begin to imagine how long those conversations are going to be. So there we go. Is there any coincidence of likeness to you in your lives that you can let us know about? Okay, now we move into an area where there is no coincidences at all, and it is the novella. Our gripping tale of dastardly goings-on is reaching its fulfilment. But where do we go today with James Homewood? Let's find out. When Alice left, he continued researching the baffling evidence, cursing himself for not taking daily notes. He was a journalist after all. His great-grandfather's name appeared on the town's cenotaph, the connection being confirmed by the old man in the pub, who said he was a good man, but it was his son who had done the damage. Edith Alston had been seduced by James the Rotter, sent away to an Aunt Ethel, and had a baby son. Was his grandmother that aunt? Did Edith really die? Did his father die serving in India? Lady Drury suggested that after causing financial and emotional distress locally, her husband, the Rotter, found happiness with her in Ceylon, where he was killed by a rogue elephant. Was she really unaware of Edith and the baby? A birth certificate stated that he, this James, was the son of Edith Alston and James Homewood. Another family branch? Tomorrow, he would check Alice's parents' response to her letter. No, but wait. Her parents were dead. Was everyone lying to him? Why? He had intended to make things right, but the tide was turning. Wow, I can't believe so much has happened in our little novella that we've got to this point already. So here's hoping that you are able to wait for tomorrow. We have a lot of twists and turns to unravel. Okay, now we move to Joan's Stones. Joan Philps had another wonderful surprise on her doorstep last week. Following on from the jar of joy, which has incidentally been refilled recently, and Joan is delighted. She opened her door last week to find 3 of her grandchildren, James, aged 8, 6-year-old Rachel, and William, who is 4, stood at the end of the path with beaming smiles and a little gift, the decorated stones that you will see in your Viral Times when you have a look at your email. They are now proudly displayed in her garden, where she sees them every time she takes her daily exercise. That is such a lovely story, and it was wonderful to chat to Joan the other day and hear all about her visit from the grandchildren. Now, Zoom worship, it's easy, honest. Okay, every now and then we bump into someone and realise that something we have said or done hasn't been explained as clearly as we thought. I know you're thinking, I can't believe that, surely not. But yes, it is the case. So yesterday, a chance meeting brought about to our attention that some people are unsure about how to join us for Zoom worship. Now, it is honestly as easy and as simple as clicking on the link that we print in the Viral Times. That's it. That's all you have to do. You open your email copy of the Viral Times and there's a little thing there and it says, here is the link, and you just click on it. Okay, once you click on it, it will take you to our meeting, which is our worship. You'll then be asked if you want to join with audio, so click yes. And then if you want to join with video, click yes again. You don't need to download an app or anything complicated. Just click on the link just before we're due to start. Okay, so now you know that. If you've been unsure in the past, maybe, just maybe next week, we might see some new faces. But if you are in doubt, do get in touch with one of the team and we will point you in the right direction. Okay. The details of website worship for today are in the Viral Times, and today you will find prayer during the day and night prayer. There is also a reflection based on our passage from Mark, chapter 3 of Mark, and you will also find our usual contact points for help should you need it. But otherwise, I think that's it from me. I bet you're exhausted. I know I am. I think I need to go somewhere with my dark glasses and lie down for a little while. But in the meantime, keep safe, keep praying, keep connected, and enjoy reminiscing with Terry and June. Bye!